Still on the matter of Obi's brother that his house was demolished. Sahara Reporters, according to Sahara Reporters, says that a court document and a certificate of occupancy identify one Mrs. Deborah Oluwa Lugbon as the rightful owner of the property in Ikeja, Lagos, which Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 elections, Peter Obi, claimed belongs to his younger brother. Okay. Obi condemned what he described as Nigeria's descent into lawlessness under President Bola Tinubu, citing the alleged illegal demolition of the property as an example. He said the worsening state of human rights in the country has left ordinary citizens, small businesses, and vulnerable groups increasingly exposed to systemic abuse and insecurity. In a statement posted on his official X, formerly Twitter, account on Tuesday, he expressed outrage over the incident, which he said reflects a broader pattern of impunity and disregard for the rule of law in the country. He said, "This morning, my youngest brother called me." So now, in biological brother, he called me frantically, informing me that a group of people had invaded his company property in Ikeja, Lagos, and were demolishing the building. The post read. He said he had just come in front. He had just come in from Port Harcourt and was denied entry. Okay, he just coming from Port Harcourt and was denied entry to the property by security men who told him the building was being pulled down. They even informed him that this demolition had started over the weekend. The former presidential candidate said his brother opted to pursue a legal resolution and began making effort to seek redress through the courts. Obi said he flew into Lagos immediately after receiving the call and went straight to the property. On arrival, he said he was confronted by security personnel who barred him from accessing the demolished building, but he appealed to them, insisting that the property had been his brother's for over a decade. That's 10 years, over 10 years. Documents show courts granted ownership to Oluwalugbon. However, documents obtained by Sahara Reporters showed a court judgment that granted ownership of the property located at number 57 Oduduwa Crescent in the Ikeja area of Lagos to one Mrs. Deborah Olorunlugbon. This followed a suit with number ID/4378 LM/2023 instituted by Olorunlogbon before the courts of Lagos State. A further check on the document showed that while Olorunlogbon was listed as the claimant in the case, the defendant was listed as an unknown person. The High Court of Lagos Ikeja Division ruling delivered on May 24, 2024 reads, says the claimant filed this suit on June 6, 2023 to claim possession of 57 Oduduwa Crescent, Ikeja on the ground that those in possession are squatting and are in possession without the consent of the contract of the claimant. The originating process and hearing notice were served on the defendant by passing or pacing at the gates of the premises by Toyin Awolesi, a sheriff of this court on October 6, 2023 and April 22nd, 2024 at about 11:05 and 10 a.m. respectively. Despite these services, the defendant did not even attend court and did not even file processes to deny the claim of the claimant. The implication of this is that the defendant is taking to have admitted the fact of the claimant and is also taken to have conceded to the relief asked for by the claimant. Consequently, the request of the claimant is granted. Possession of 57 Oduduwa Crescent is granted in favor of the claimant. Summarily assessed as a 2 million naira is also granted in favor of the claimant against the defendant, the ruling adds. Additionally, a police report indicated that the land was initially allocated to Mrs. Oluwalugbon by the federal government in 2003. A certificate of occupancy signed by the governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu was issued to her on February 17, 2025. Oluwalogbo's lawyer accuses Obi of politicizing disputes. Speaking to Sahara reporters, a lawyer on Mrs. Oluwalogbo's legal team, Mayomi Afekua, faulted the expose by Obi. He said in one breath, Mr. Obi claimed the property in question belongs to his family. In another, he said it belongs to his brother, whose identity remains conveniently hidden. At yet another point, he suggested the property is owned by a company where his brother works. So which is it? The truth is becoming increasingly clear. Mr. Obi has no real connection to this property. Rather, he appears to have been hired to use his influence, name, and social media reach to politicize and sensationalize a matter that is currently before a court of law. Nigeria is not a lawless nation. It is people like Peter Obi who ought to know better, who encouraging lawlessness by attempting to sway public opinion against lawful judicial process. If Mr. Obi was genuinely interested in justice, he would have presented a balanced view of the situation instead of using social media as a courtroom to push one-sided narratives. He knows full well that the suit number of the case in which Mrs. Olorunlogbo secure judgment is boldly displayed on the property. The party he is fronting for has already joined issues in courts. For the record, Mrs. Olorunlogbo possesses a valid judgment, certificates of occupancy, and other official documents confirming her ownership of the property until a court says otherwise. The property is hers to use as she sees fit. The disturbing pattern here is that Mr. Obi's current online campaign is a continuation of earlier disobedience to court orders orchestrated by his associates. The matter was duly reported to Zone 2 Police Headquarters in Lagos. They were invited for questioning, a fact Mr. Obi himself has acknowledged, but they chose to ignore the police. Now, Mr. Obi has taken the dangerous routes of self-help and media trial, which undermines the rule of law. Okay, so at the end of the day, somebody is saying them what they are trying to tell us that Peter Obi is not saying the truth. We need to hear from him, in details. Now, can you just say, imagine all this thing? The public has no basis to judge without hearing the other side, especially when Obi's story lacks verifiable proof and ignores the legal notifications allegedly posted. If the party Mr. Obi represents really believes it owns the property, let them bring forward their documents and make their case in court. That is how civil disputes are resolved. However, Emeka Okpoko, a senior advocate of Nigeria and lawyer representing Nest Foods Limited, which is claiming ownership of the demolished property, said he became aware of the case on Friday, June 20th, after some persons came to offer possession or came to effect possession. In 2021, UK authorities struck off Nest International UK Limited, a company largely owned by Peter Obi, for failing to file its annual accounts. Obi's brother Ndibe Obi serves as the chairman of Nest International Nigeria. Sahara Reporters was unable to verify the names of the directors of the subsidiary Nest Foods Limited on the Corporate Affairs Commission website, as the site was not even functioning properly at the time of the check. Okay, just last Friday, we were called upon that some people came here to take possession. We never knew that about the pendency of any suits at all. The suit was filed against persons unknown. Platforms Africa quoted the lawyer as said. He said, What we did was to quickly go to the registry to see the process file. That is, which process they relied upon to come to this place. We got it only to discover that they came by originating summons and they are even claiming possessions, not claiming ownership. We then made copies of all those processes and worked all through Friday. On Monday, we filed our application, which was yesterday, June 23rd, for joinder. That is, let us be joined in the case as parties, and we attach affidavits where we annex copies of materials, documents showing that we truly own the property. We attach all of the deeds, assignments, and all of that. I can assure you that if you go through the evidence of service, that what they did, they will paste a court process, snap it, remove it, and go back to the court to file evidence that they have effected service. We attacked all those things in our application, seeking to get to set aside that judgment. We also filed an application setting aside further execution. We have an injunction pending the hearing of the suits. We also have a prayer where we are asking the court to convert the case to pleading so that everybody will file their own side of the story and the court will take a plenary session and hear us out. You see, the other first narration is from the government. Oh, Obi did not do this and that. Why the rush? When this kind of thing happen, they quickly, because they know what they are doing. Before you are not even thinking in that direction. They will quickly find some things. They will try to adjust it before you could say you want to breathe. They've passed this whole thing out, and that is where they will now come and be using against the people. Tinubu government can go extra miles, yes, but seriously, this government don't really fall us, sha, or fail us. Now today APC can do anything. It is not a new thing. Of course, they will quickly do mago mago. Now they want to because they have a script they've written. They will do the course this thing. While you are trying to say and this and that, they have maneuver everything. That is the country we are in. So guys, let's say your opinion and have your take on this.